Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody is having a super weekend so far. I hope that you're all healthy and that you're strong. Students, in this class we are looking at IELTS speaking part 3. It's the third and final part of the IELTS speaking section, and the topic of this speaking will be finding a solution. If you were here for the last class that ended 30 minutes ago, that was a speaking part 2 cue card talking about complaints. So speaking part 3 is always related to part 2. Ken, I see that you upgraded your membership, by the way. Make sure to send us an email so I can hook you up with those perks, okay? All right, everyone. Today is March 5th. This is an all chat class, so get in there and join the chat. Practice your English. The lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS. Visit there for general IELTS, gieltshelp.com. We have lots of materials for you there. We have apps, Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help. Check those out in the app stores. Instagram, IELTS_AE Help and GIELTS Help. Make sure to join us, and you can use this discount code for one more day, the RU492. We will use our websites today for speaking. In fact, we're going to do it quite soon here. This is our Academic IELTS website. Click this big red button to join the premium package. We're an official British Council Test Registration Center certified agents, so you're in great hands with us. For general IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com. Click that big red button there. When you click that red button, you can use the coupon code again, RU492, for that 30% discount, and then you are good to go. So again, make sure to take advantage of that today as soon as possible. So after this speaking class, you'll have a couple days off as usual, and then I'm back on Wednesday the 9th with some more speaking. So let's go back there for a second. So 9th, and then we've got a full week, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Okay. All right, Depeche, I'm glad that you got your desired score. I see that in the chat. That's fantastic. All right. Okay, everyone. So speaking part 3 questions, talking about solving problems. You want to answer, explain, give examples, and make sure to repeat. So here we go. What are the basic steps to solving a problem in everyday life? Can you elaborate on that? Repeat these questions as I'm going through these, okay? People often say that to solve problems effectively, it is important to think outside of the box. What does this mean? And can you give an example? And then let's talk about complaining. What are some situations in society where people make complaints? Why are these common situations? Have the way people complained these days changed compared to 20 years ago? Can you give an example? How can people complain effectively? What are ineffective ways of complaining? So these are our questions for today, students. And again, remember that you want to be able to answer, explain, example. Every time, think about answer, explain, example. Now, we will take some volunteers to answer these questions, and I'm going to do lots of volunteering for today's class. It's the final class of this week. It's speaking. I want you to speak lots. I'd rather hear your voice than my voice, especially after a full week of lessons. It's time to hear your peers and get some feedback. So to volunteer, you need to follow these steps, okay? Number one is you will register a free or a paid account at ahelp.com. That's what we use for speaking, our speaking interface. Log into your My Student account. Click on Student Partner Speaking. Enable your microphone. And here it's a good idea to test it with another person first before you call me. So just check and make sure that it's working on your end, okay? Keep the window open, so don't close the window, and then nothing will happen. And message Master when you're ready. Master, that will be me. You will see the handle Master, and then you'll see a little blue envelope. Let me show you exactly what to do here. So let's hop over again to the website. And here again, you can join the premium course by clicking the red button, or the free version of the course by clicking this green button to try it. And then once you register, it's very easy. You will have your My Student account. Okay, you click on the My Student account, and then you have this Student Partner Speaking button that's right above my head there. Okay. Click on that Student Partner Speaking button, say that you accept the terms, and then you're in this page here where you will see a lot of people. We have Dr. Ruta, we have Udit Raj, Adan, we have Ken Russell, Khadija, Muaz, and lots more. So that's great. We've got lots of potential volunteers. And then eventually you'll see me. My handle will be Master. I probably just popped up as I entered there. Again, students, check with others first. So try to send a message to someone and say, hey, can we talk for just like 30 seconds to see if this works for me or my country? And then if it works for you, it works on your device, in your region, then you're good to go. You're good to go. All right, so we're taking some volunteers. Again, these are the questions for today. So coming out of AELTS, IELTS Help. And here we go, listening part 3. Now, listening part 3, it follows from part 2. And if you were here last class, in part 2, we had a cue card that was a formal police complaint about noisy neighbors. Okay, so that was part 2. So try to connect, okay? Connect your part 2 to part 3, okay? All right, so try to do that. And remember, answer, explain, and example, okay? So include all of those elements, all right? Okay, everyone, so I'm going to be taking some volunteers. If you have a headset, it's a good idea. It's clear. Okay. All right, so here we go. Let me just hop back to the website here, and hopefully we have some candidates that are eager and excited to volunteer. Ulyukbek, is it? Has sent me a message, so let's see. I would love to volunteer. Okay. Ulyukbek. All right. Are you ready? Sure, you can be our first volunteer. All right. So here we go. I will always message you first when you say I want to volunteer, just to make sure that you're still there and you haven't left to go get yourself a snack or a cup of coffee, and then we can begin. And Ulyukbek says, yes, sir. I'm trying to pronounce that name, but it's quite tricky, so maybe I can get some help right now. Good afternoon, good evening. How are you?
Calm down.
Hello. Quebec. Can you hear me? I can hear you breathing and whispering, but I don't hear you. Are you there?
Hello?
Yes. Hi. Quebec. Can you hear me? I can hear you loud and clear. Yep. I don't know what happened there. Okay, let's try it again. Hello. Are you there?
Yes, I am. I can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. So maybe something with the speakers there. How are you doing?
Great. I'm actually having a great day.
That's fantastic. Can you help me pronounce your name, please?
It's Ulukbek.
Ukbiek. Okay, Ukbiek. Got it.
You can call me like Lug.
Lug. Okay, that's probably easier for me. My pronunciation is not bad for foreign words, but your name is definitely challenging.
Oh yeah.
All right, Lug. May I ask, where are you from?
I'm from Mongolia, but I have like Persian origins.
Persian origins and from Mongolia. That's fantastic. All right, awesome. Okay, and why are you doing the IELTS exam?
I'm trying to apply to U.S. university,
What do you plan to study?
MBA.
Okay, business. Right on. Well, US is a good place to learn it. It's the home of very strong capitalism, so it's a good
Oh
place.
yeah, I love that about U.S.
All right. Okay, Lug, so I will help you on this journey by asking you a part three question and then giving you some feedback on your speaking, okay?
All right.
All right, so here we go. So let's talk about solving problems. What are the basic steps to solving a problem in everyday life?
So my philosophy on this exact issue is that you have to know what's causing the problem before you, just tape it. You have to actually stop the root of the problem so it will not keep happening. So I would love to determine what's causing it, and then I'll take step by step action towards solving it.
Okay. Got it. All right. Okay, so I got it. All right, that would be about a band seven. Love.
Oh, right.
But I think your speaking is actually better than that. I think you should actually be getting like closer to a nine. Like you should be aiming for an 8.59 with your level of English. Your English vocabulary and your grammar is in the 8-9 range for sure. Your pronunciation is in the 8-9 range as well. It's very clear. Your intonation. I mean, you basically sound like an English speaker to me, just about on the other end of the line. So I can tell you have a lot of experience with English and you have spent much time practicing it. However, your answer needs an upgrade as far as the content. Okay, let me point out a couple of good points and a couple of bad points. So first of all, like I said, your vocabulary is very good. So you said, so my philosophy, I love that use of the word philosophy. Very nice speaking there. Commonly used by native English speakers as well. My philosophy on this issue or on this topic. And you said exact issue, so nice detail. And you had a nice expression here that was, I think, very accurate in the context, which is root of the problem. You used good natural language here as well, step by step, to stopping it. So definitely good vocabulary, good fluency. Now, my issue, first of all, is with your voice of speech. Okay, so your first voice of speech is second person. So you started by speaking directly to me. You said you, right? You said, so my philosophy on this exact issue is that you have to know what's causing the problem before you just tape it. This was a little bit unclear for me what you meant here by just tape it. Maybe I missed exactly what you're saying. What were you saying there?
Yeah, usually, like people say, the word I was looking for was band-aiding the issue.
Yeah, so that was a bit
So
awkward there.
yeah, I just
So don't over. Yeah, so I was like, I figured it was something like that, like a band-aid fix, but that's a bit complex. So let's not go that like down that route, because I guess what you're going there is just like a temporary fix, like it's a band-aid fix. But let's just keep it a bit simpler here. So what's causing the problem before you just tackle it? Tackle it means to try to solve it as well. So there's another expression for you. And then you said you have to. So you're going with the you again here. And then what happens is you kind of repeat it, the same idea, but then you switch to first person voice. And you said, so I would love to determine what's causing it when I will take a step-by-step action to solving it. Okay. So if I want to backtrack here, I would say your grammar here would be more of a 7. Okay. So you don't want to do that, Lug. You don't want to switch between you and I in your response. It becomes very confusing. So who's solving the problem? Me or you or people, right? You also don't want to jump around in your tense. So you don't want to say when I solve issues, when I have solved issues, when I will solve issues. You want to stay within the same tense parameters. So if you're using present, you want to be present, present continuous, maybe present perfect, okay? So let me fix this a little bit. I'll actually rewrite it for you so you can see the comparison, and then we can go from there. So my philosophy on this exact issue is that people, okay, in part 3, it's best to use the third person voice, which is the objective voice, okay? So my philosophy on this exact issue is that people have to know the cause of the problem before coming up with an appropriate solution. By getting to the root of the situation, a person can visualize and then implement an effective resolve with minimum energy and time requirements. Just like with my noisy neighbors, instead of fighting with them, I realized that they were partying because they are young and full of energy. So my best course of action was to get the help of authorities. Okay, and that was the missing part of your answer, Lug, was the example. So always think of example as well, and if you can connect to part 2. Were you here for the part 2 class?
No, I just tuned in.
Okay, you just tuned in. Yeah, we had part 2 like about an hour ago now, and that was about a complaint that we had to make. So when you can connect to part 2, you want to connect, but if you can't, it's fine. Just include an example as well. Okay, so here's a more precise response to this question. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to read the question, the response, and then just repeat after me. Okay.
All
right. So what are the basic steps to solving a problem in everyday life? So my philosophy on this exact issue is that people have to know the cause of the problem before coming up with an appropriate solution. By getting to the root of the situation, a person can visualize and then implement an effective resolve with minimum energy and time requirements. Just like with my noisy neighbors, instead of fighting with them, I realized that they were partying because they're young and full of energy. So the best action was to get the help of authorities. Okay, so I will ask you the question one more time. What are the basic steps to solving a problem in everyday life? Whenever you're ready.
All right, I can see it now, so I'm ready. So my philosophy on this exact issue is that people have to know the cause of the problem before coming up with an appropriate solution. By getting to the root of the situation, a person can visualize and then implement an effective resolve with minimum energy and time requirements. Just like my noisy neighbors, instead of fighting with them, I realized that they were partying because they were young and full of energy. So my best course of action was to get the help of authorities.
Okay, very good. Yeah. So keep practicing that. So make sure that you, and in your writing as well, Lug, pay attention to voice and tense. Okay. Answer, explain, example.
Could I ask a quick question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like when you're talking about something from the universal perspective, should you still use the same like preposition? I mean, like, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. What do you mean by preposition exactly? Yeah. So
No,
the to
I
and
think I
now.
used the wrong word. Like, should you still say I or people instead of like,
Yeah, so you mean the noun, right? The
oh,
subject
you
noun.
know.
So you're focusing on those, not I. So I would be a personal. That would be first person. So you're focusing on people, individuals, and you want to be as specific with those nouns as possible. So if I'm speaking directly about my neighbors, I should say neighbors, not just people living next door, right? But my neighbors next door. So you want to always find the most specific nouns, and then that will help you with your lexical resource and coherence score greatly. Okay.
All right.
Okay. I hope that answers your question. All right, Lug, thank you so much for volunteering, and I wish you the best on your journey to the States for your studies.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
All right, that was Lug. Give Lugs a thumbs up, everyone. That was a really good first go at speaking part 3. So again, remember the important points from this feedback is don't jump around with I and you and people, but stick with one voice in part 3. That's usually the third person voice. So people, individuals, authorities, neighbors, okay? We tend not to mix voices as much as possible for clear communication, all right? Okay, so taking more volunteers here. Let's see, we've got a few. Cool, all right. So let me see if I can reach out to Amrit here. Amrit was kind enough to make a super chat donation in the last class. So let's give Amrit a chance. Are you ready, Amrit? All right, I have not forgotten about the support in your last class. I did catch that, okay? All right, let's see if Amrit is ready. You support us, we'll support you. That's a fair trade, I say. All right. And thank you for the thumbs up, everyone. So Pushpendra, Divya, Amra, Adam, I can see that you're clapping and giving some smiley faces for Lug for sure. So it's very nice of you to support each other. All right, Amrit, are you there, my good man? Are you still with us, or have you left for a spot of tea before maybe going to bed? All right. Crizzle, you can always ask for advice, absolutely. And if I don't give it to you in the live class, just send us an email. I mean, you know, we're always here to support our viewers and our students. Okay, Amrit, if you come back at some point, let us know. I'm going to jump to another volunteer here. Let's try out Andy. Andy, all with capitals. So Andy, are you ready? Okay. And be patient, everyone, when you're volunteering. As you can see, I move around. Sometimes a volunteer is not present. They've left for tea or coffee or a washroom break or something. Sometimes I'm not able to connect. So you never know when your chance might come up to have a practice question or two with me. So stay the course, stay vigilant. Okay. All right, and I can see our Baldy has donated €2 with a little cool sign. Our Baldy, that's great. If you're wanting to volunteer, I will look for you. So I definitely appreciate the super chat donations. All right, Andy. Not sure if you're still there or not. Make sure to respond, guys, in the chat. So when you see me chat with you, are you ready? And then just send me back, yes, I am. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm going to look for our Baldy. See if our Baldy is in here. If your name is different in the YouTube chat than in on the website, make sure you let me know that. So our Baldy, if you're using a different handle on the website, let me know. Okay. All right, Andy says, yeah, hi, sure. I'm not yet confident, though. Andy, that's okay. The way to get confidence is by practicing. So let me call you. Hopefully you pick up. And then we can just have a chat.
Hello.
Hi, Andy.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm great. From where are you?
I am in Victoria. That's on the west coast of Canada. Are you familiar with the western part of Canada?
Well, to be honest, I don't have any idea about that place.
Have you heard of Vancouver?
Yes, actually, I have a college friend who migrated there in Vancouver.
Yeah, so Vancouver is a big city in the province of British Columbia, and the capital city of this province is Victoria. That's where I live. So it's the second biggest city in the province. So yeah. Okay, Andy, where are you?
I'm from the Philippines. I'm currently living here.
All right, and why are you taking the IELTS?
Well, I'm taking the IELTS in order for me to get my visa screen. It's one of the prerequisites.
Okay, are you planning to immigrate or go to school or get work?
Well, I'm planning to work as a medical technologist in the United States.
All right, yeah. There's always a great need for medical experts in both Canada, US, and in the UK as well. So good for you. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, I will help you on your journey. I will ask you a question and give you some feedback. So we're still talking about solving problems. And give me a nice full sentence answer, and then we'll go from there. So here we go. People often say that to solve problems effectively, it is important to think outside of the box. What does this mean?
In my opinion, this means that you need to see the brighter side of the problem.
Can you give an example?
For example, you are dealing with a big difficulty in your life at the moment, then you should see the brighter side of it. Once you surpass these difficulties, then I'm to be honest, I'm not yet that confident.
Okay, don't worry about it. That's why you're here, right? To gain some confidence, to gain some fluency, gain some tips for how to do better. That's why you're here. That's what I'm here to help you with. So it's totally okay. And my first help is this. Visualize the problem. So you said when you're dealing with a big difficulty in your life. So first point here, Andy, is you're making the same mistake that Lug made. You're also switching to the second person voice, and you see this is very common for people to be like you, and it's like we're talking about the person that we're talking to, but we don't intend to. We're doing that to catch their attention, but we actually intend to talk about people in general, right? The difficulty when we use the word you is we externalize the situation. We put it outside of ourselves, so it's more difficult to give an accurate, clear answer. When we internalize it, so when we make it our own, then it's much easier. So let me show you what I mean. You said when you're dealing with a big difficulty in your life, instead of that, okay, think about me, my life. So what is a challenge that you are dealing with in your life currently?
I would say this IELTS exam.
Sure. Yeah. Why not? Right. So getting a good score on the IELTS exam, right?
Yes.
Okay. So passing an exam, right? Keep it simple. So passing an exam.
Yes, yes, passing.
Now, how can I see the brighter side of passing the exam? So what does that mean for you?
Um, Maybe acing the exam by getting my desired band score. Maybe.
And that don't say maybe. Be
I
confident.
also.
So doing it, not maybe, doing it. Okay. And then what happens? So you ace your IELTS exam, and what happens after?
After I pass my IELTS exam, I can start processing my visa screen.
And get your dream job, right?
Oh, okay, okay.
All right. Okay. So let's try this question one more time. Internalize it. And now don't say I. So, okay. So I gave you the tip of how to think about a good detailed answer. But instead of saying when I pass my IELTS exam, so give the example of when people pass an exam. Okay. So use the internal concept, that idea, and make it general for everybody. Okay, so let's do this again. Just do your best, no pressure. Okay, I will help you again through this. So here we go, one more time. People often say that to solve problems effectively, it is important to think outside the box. What does this mean?
Um, I'm a little bit nervous right now.
Oh, it's okay.
Um,
So keep the first part of the answer the
yeah.
same, and then the second, when I ask you for the example, just use the exam as the example. Okay. One more time. It's okay. Just take a deep breath, and then when you're ready. So one more time. People often say that to solve problems effectively, it is important to think outside the box. What does this mean?
Well, people need to see the brighter side of any difficulty. Is that right? Is that right?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
need
yeah, yeah.
to-
Don't check. Just keep going.
Then,
That's perfect so
okay,
far.
okay, okay. For example, when someone wants to pass an examination, oh,
Yeah, you're doing good. They should keep in mind.
oh, okay. They should keep in mind the outcome of their hard work. For example, they surpass that big difficulty. They Am I doing the right thing?
Yeah, you are. Just keep going. Be confident. Keep going. They get a great score and find their dream job.
Oh, okay.
All right? And you're done. That's all you need to do. To finish what you're saying and to get a high band score, all you need to do is just finish that sentence. And they say they get a great score and they get their dream job.
So, for example, they asked me that question. I don't refer my answer to my personal experience. I would, what I'm trying to say is I will tell the experiences of others like that. But I would say they, not I.
Exactly. Yeah, you just replace the
Oh,
pronoun I with they. Yeah,
they.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
All right. So that's what you need to do. Okay. Now you're close. I mean, I think this answer would get you a good mark. It's not an exact definition of thinking outside the box, but I do think that looking at the problem in a positive way is part of that expression, thinking outside the box. Thinking outside the box means looking at the challenge from different perspectives, right? So let me give you an answer as well, but I think you would do okay with the answer that you gave. So let me give you an answer to this question, and then we'll go from there. So I believe this idiom means that people must view problems from a variety of perspectives in order to clearly understand it and come up with clever solutions. Many people, for this reason, apply to several universities in several countries in order to make sure that they get accepted regardless of a perfect IELTS score. Okay, so kind of using a little bit of your approach to the example. Okay, so here we go. Let me repeat the question. I'll give the answer and then just copy my answer. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so people often say that to solve problems effectively, it is important to think outside the box. What does this mean? I believe this idiom means that people must view problems from a variety of perspectives in order to clearly understand it and come up with clever solutions. Many people, for this reason, apply to several universities in several countries to make sure that they get accepted regardless of a perfect IELTS score. All right, so here's the question again. People often say that to solve problems effectively, it is important to think outside the box. What does this mean? Just give the same answer, Andy, as what I gave. Did I lose Andy? Not sure. I don't hear you, Andy, so I might have lost you. I'm not sure what happened to the connection, just with the repetition there. Maybe you got disconnected. That's okay, though. I hope you still repeated that answer, okay? And I hope everybody else did too. So when I say repeat, I don't necessarily mean just for the person I'm talking with. It's not just a listening exercise for everybody else, but it's speaking. So I do hope that everybody else is repeating, especially these answers that I'm giving, because I'm giving you some band 9 level answers. Okay, so we lost Andy, but I think Andy got completely disconnected. I actually don't see even the message component anymore for Andy, but hopefully Andy is still watching, so give Andy a thumbs up. Okay, and we'll find someone else to practice another question with. Crizzle says, I repeated the answer. That's very good, Crizzle. Okay, Kyber, I hope you're also repeating the answers. So everybody stay focused here, right? It's very important. And thank you for the thumbs up. Okay, let's go to someone else here. I'm sticking with the ace for right now. Let's go with Ani. Okay, Ani, are you ready? I am just randomly moving through this. Yeah, thank you, Marwa and Simran, for the thumbs up for Andy. Andy was putting his heart out there and building confidence. So, all right, Annie is ready. Let's go, Annie. Or maybe Annie? Find out. All right. Ani, I don't hear you on the other end. I heard a lot of rings and then silence. Okay. All right. So cannot create peer connection object is the peer connection flag enabled in about flags. I don't know what that means, Ani, but I will take a screenshot of this and I will ask my techs what that means. Okay, so I've taken a screenshot and I will check out what that means. It sounds like it's an issue on your end. That would be my guess, but I'm not sure what it is. So maybe do a quick Google search on it, Annie, and see what it tells you, and then come back. Okay, let's try Duyen. So Duyen, are you ready? Okay, and again, just a reminder for everyone watching those tips that I've been giving. When you're practicing your speaking, yeah, really try to avoid that you pronoun, okay? It really seems to get most people into trouble, so avoid saying you.
You.
Hello, Duyen.
Yes.
How are
yeah.
you?
Well, and I'm happy to ready answer your question.
Awesome. Okay, Duyin. Duyin, I think we talked before. You have volunteered before, but I never asked you, why are you taking the IELTS exam?
Yes, I'm a third year student at Da Nang University for um, English major, and my university asked me to have a IELTS certificate uh, for um,
For life.
yeah, yes.
Right?
I,
That makes sense. I mean,
yeah,
people get IELTS certificates for work and for immigration and for school, but at
yeah,
the end of the day, an IELTS certificate is just a good certificate to have on your resume, on your CV for
yes.
whatever you're doing, because it's your international proof of English. So I get it. Okay, Duyin, well, let me help you with this. I will ask you a part 3 question, and we're going to switch from solutions to talking about complaining.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, you're ready. All right, so let's talk about complaining. What are common situations in society where people make complaints?
Mm, well, I would say that many normal circumstances in life and society make people to redness genuine revenge themselves. I can take two or three examples. Uh, includes making noise at night and violence. Um, these two cases can often take place every time uh, you have witnessed online, on Facebook, or real life. The reason why people to make the reason why people to make problems because they feel angry and keep peace for the community. And last week, I wrote a letter complaint for local government about
Why are
youth.
these situations common? Okay, so this is about where the examiner would definitely interrupt you, Duyan. So you do have to finish what you're saying. Okay, don't just keep talking, because then the examiner will interrupt you and then you don't hear their question and then it's more difficult. So just answer, explain, example, and stop. Okay, so don't keep talking and talking until they stop you. If you see that kind of advice online in videos or in some IELTS class, it is absolutely not true. Okay, sometimes I don't know why some people say, "Oh, just keep talking until they stop you." No, don't do that. That makes for a very awkward and confusing conversation. So just answer, explain, example, stop. Okay.
Yes.
All right, Duyan. So I would say that would be like a band 5 answer. Okay, I have some clarity on what you're saying, but not complete clarity. So some parts I understand what you mean, but some parts I'm quite confused about what you're saying. You are paraphrasing, so you're using your own words to paraphrase the question, which is good. You have to work a little bit on your structure, your pronunciation, and your clarity, overall clarity of the answer. Okay. Are you with me, Duyan?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
I'm here.
All right. All right. I'm just making sure. Making sure I'm not just talking to an empty voice on the other side. All right. So you said, well, I would say that many normal circumstances, so it's a plural, where people, I think you used a synonym here for complain, but I didn't quite catch it. So I think that, when you're giving the response for the main subject, it's usually a good idea, especially if you're not, if you're having difficulty with pronunciation, it's usually a good idea to just repeat the main subject with the same word, especially since you're already paraphrasing. So, well, I would say that many normal circumstances where people complain are with services and their living space.
Yeah.
Okay, so here you said like noise and violence, right? So that was okay. And maybe, when we're doing some shopping, so really it's common situations. So you want to focus on naming those situations, right? Like I mentioned in part 2, noisy neighbors or violent neighbors.
Mentioned in party.
Yeah, so reflect your part 2, as I mentioned in part 2, or violent neighbors. Also, when a person buys a damaged product, or they get a dirty hotel room, they will complain to the service staff. Okay, just like that. And then you're on your way. So structured, answer, explain, example. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to say the question, the answer, and then just copy after me. Does that sound good?
Yes.
All right, here we go. So what are common situations in society where people make complaints? Well, I would say that many normal circumstances where people complain are with services and their living space. Like I mentioned in part 2, noisy neighbors or violent neighbors. Also, when a person buys a damaged product or they get a dirty hotel room, they will complain to the service staff. What are common situations in society where people make complaints?
Well, I would say that many normal circumstances where people complain are with services and the living space, like I mentioned in part 2, noisy neighbors or violent neighbors. Also, when a person buys a damaged product or they get a dirty hotel room, they will complain to service staff.
Okay, good, much better. All right. So clear grammar, fluency, visualize it, a couple of circumstances, and then you're getting a great band score. Duyan, keep practicing. I think you have a lot of technical knowledge of English, like grammar rules and vocabulary. So what you need to do is you need to put it into practice. I know this because I studied Japanese in university, and I took first, second, and third year Japanese in university. And I had a lot of knowledge of Japanese, of characters, of words, of grammar, but I was lacking the practice. So I really needed to practice. So I moved to Japan for a year and I practiced a lot. So practice is important, okay? All right.
Thanks for.
Yes, finish the sentence, Duyan.
Yes, thank you for your feedback. I say I have a try to do every time.
Yeah, absolutely. Come back, volunteer. And when, you're not volunteering here, speak with other students. So there's always somebody in this part of the website looking for someone to practice. So just, send them a message. Say, I'm here. I have 10 minutes to practice IELTS questions. And then a lot of people are really happy to do that. So, okay?
Yes, teacher. Goodbye.
Okay, bye, Duyan.
Bye, teacher.
Okay, that was Duyan from Vietnam. So very nice. Okay, great. Okay, everyone, let's take another volunteer. Let's keep moving. Let's keep going forward. So Pushpendra Kolwinder. Let's see if Pushpendra is here with us. Okay, are you ready? I think Pushpendra is maybe one of our members as well, if I'm not mistaken. Crystal is asking if it's advisable to have remarking on your IELTS scores. Only if you really feel that they're unfair, especially for the writing and the speaking section. Okay, definitely don't get remarked for the listening and the reading. That usually will not change. Okay, set answers. All right, here we go. All right, Pushpendra. I hear that you picked up. I don't hear you, though. Don't hear your voice. Okay. Again, students, I highly recommend testing out the system. If you're getting some kind of error message, throw it into Google, see what it is. Maybe it will say, oh, you need to enable some setting in your device to be able to use the chat function. Okay. All right. Amrit, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. All right, Pushpendra. Yep, just check and then come back. Okay. All right. Meanwhile, I'll circle back to Amrit, see if he's ready. Amrit, are you ready to volunteer? Amrit did send a super chat donation there earlier, so just wanted to check if Amrit maybe wanted to volunteer, because I also see you in the chat, Amrit, and I see that you're sending me a message. So if you're there, let me know. I'll give you about 5 more seconds while I look for someone else. I think Ken also was missed in the last class. Let me check here way up in my chat. Ken, let's see. Yeah. Yeah, Ken, absolutely. I hope you're still there. Are you ready? Okay. Hopefully Ken's still there. Just hang in there, students. These classes roughly are about an hour. Sometimes we go a little bit over. So just so you know, they're about an hour long. All right. Here we go. So hang in there. Wait till the end if you can. Hello, Ken.
Hello, sir.
I can hear you loud and clear. Are you using a microphone?
Yeah, I have a dynamic microphone. So
I can tell. It's like you're inside my head. Ken just got in my head.
should I turn it down?
No. I like it. It's nice and clear. It's perfect. I can hear you like you're sitting right beside me. All right, Ken. Well, thank you for being a member of our channel. That's great. Thank you for volunteering. Why are you doing the IELTS exam?
So I'm planning to get my license here in Canada. So as a veterinarian, so I don't know if
Okay.
it's a requirement. So
Yeah, it is. I mean, you have to prove your level of English one way or another for sure. And IELTS is usually the most standard way to prove your level of English if you haven't finished school in an English-speaking country. So, and English in an English-speaking country. So that's good. Veterinarian, and we had that topic come up this week.
yeah, I was
So-
watching, but
Yeah, so you're like, hey, they're talking about me. That's great. All right.
but I was originally from Philippines. So when I immigrated here, since 2011, I don't have any. I mean, I'm doing a lot of jobs like apart from doing that, but yeah.
That's great, though. I mean, I think being a veterinarian, it's beautiful work. You're helping animals, which is incredible. And I think in Canada, veterinarians make more than some human doctors, so it's good money too. So definitely, we love animals, and yeah, I respect that. Okay, well, Ken, may I ask one more question? Where in Canada are you?
In the dirty Calgary, as you said in your lecture.
In Calgary. Okay. All right. Okay. So let me ask you a part 3 question, and then I'll give you some feedback, okay?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So we're still talking about complaining. Okay. Here we go. Have the way people complain these days changed compared to 20 years ago?
So, as far as I know, 20 years ago, there will be different, maybe, way of doing that. So, they usually do it verbally or formally in a letter. But nowadays, it's, for example, if you file a complaint in your internet service, they will give you a link to the chat kind of thing, especially Shaw right now. So even if you try to call them, they're not gonna answer you back on phone, so they will send you a chat. So it's a big difference from 20 years ago because it's like technology wise, it's different.
Okay, good.
Sure. I think that's it.
Years ago, because technology-wise, it's different. Okay, got you. Okay, that's about a band 6.5 to 7, and I think you can do a lot better than that, Ken. I can tell you're nervous a bit. That's where you're having like some spouts of giggling and laughing. That's a common response to being nervous. So totally okay. All right, you kind of mixed up the order of answer, explanation, example. You actually went answer, example, explanation, which makes it tricky. Also, you used you like a couple of the other volunteers. So you said when you're internet, and then you do this, you get a link to the chat. So it takes practice to get rid of that part of speech. And for your profession, for being a veterinarian, when you're dealing with clients, it will become very important, the words that you choose. So when you throw your dog out into the backyard, when people, right? Not you. You don't do that. You don't throw your dog out. No, I just meant people. So you have to be very careful as a doctor on how you use the word you or people or patients or I. So be careful.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm going to avoid.
And in the beginning, stick to the structure answer, explain, example. So don't mix that up. It's easier. Once you master giving answer, explain, example, then you can play around with that structure a little bit. But I say at first, just keep to that simple structure.
Yeah.
Also be really careful with your verb and verb tense use. Okay, so you have good English, you have good pronunciation, you have good fluency, but you're making some awkward grammatical mistakes. I think it's partly because you're nervous, but you can't do that. Okay, so
yeah, that's true.
All right. So you said, so as far as I know, 20 years ago there will be. 20 years ago there will be. So are we in the past or the future, or are we in a time machine? So you have to be careful about that. And you said they usually do it. So then now you just switch to present tense. So let's just fix this a bit. Okay. So as far as I know, 20 years ago, there were different ways. Of dealing with problems, if we don't want to say complaining. Okay, not they, but the past generation usually did it, not do it. Let's fix the tense. Did it verbally or formally in a letter. But nowadays, when people, okay, let's make it a real conditional. When people file complaints, for example, a bad internet connection, they're going to send a link. Who is they? Service staff, right?
Yeah.
Is going to send a link. Just take out the you. A link to chat. So there has been, let's show that present perfect. Notice how the question is have the way people complain. So it's present perfect. So in your answer, you really want to show the examiner that you can also use present perfect. Okay. So there has been a big difference, or instead of repeating difference, you can say shift. Than 20 years ago, because technology has evolved and provided easier and more manageable ways to complain online and through reviews. Okay, we'll just finish it that way. And now you're in a much better position grammatically with clarity. Let me repeat the question, the answer, and then copy after me, okay?
Okay.
All right, so have the way people complain these days changed compared to 20 years ago? So as far as I know, 20 years ago, there were different ways of dealing with problems. The past generation usually did it verbally or formally in a letter, but nowadays, when people file complaints, for example, a bad internet connection, service staff is going to send a link to chat. So there has been a big shift. in the past 2 decades because technology has evolved and provided easier and more manageable ways to complain online or through reviews. Have the ways people complain these days changed compared to 20 years ago?
Okay, so as far as I know, 20 years ago, there were different ways of dealing with the problems. The past generations usually did it verbally or formally in a letter. But nowadays, when people file complaints, for example, about internet connection, service staff is going to send a link to a chat. So there has been a big shift in the past 2 decades because technology has evolved and provided easier and more manageable ways to complain online and through reviews.
That's a band 9. Okay, so if you
Yeah.
give that answer, that's going to be a band 9 answer for sure.
I just hope I can do that.
You can. I mean,
Yeah.
good news, you're living in Canada, so you have lots of chances to practice. So for you, what you want to do to be able to do this, right, is really pay attention to the way you speak in every conversation throughout the day. So when you're buying bread at the grocery store, or whether you're talking to a classmate, really just critically analyze your speech every single time. Okay, I know it's tiring, it's going to take a lot of energy out of you, but it's a great way to improve quickly. Okay,
That's a very good advice. Thank you very much.
all right. Okay, so thank you for volunteering. I hope you become a veterinarian. One day you might see my pet hamster that I got just last week from my daughter. Never know. Hopefully not. Hopefully the hamster will be in good health for its entire little life. But thank you for volunteering anyway, and I hope you have an awesome rest of your weekend in Calgary.
Yeah, you too. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Bye, Ken. Bye.
Yeah.
All right, so that was Ken. Okay, everyone, and we're just slightly over our usual 1 hour time slot. Give Ken a big thumbs up, though. I mean, he was really nervous. He had the laugh jitters. It's kind of fun when you have that, though, right? Like when I'm so nervous that I'm laughing, I almost like being nervous. Yeah. But you got to get over it. You can't be laughing on the IELTS exam. You have to stay focused. Somebody once asked me, like, is it okay if I joke on the IELTS exam? Nah, no, not the place for a joke. Even if you have really great English and you're very confident and comfortable, don't try to be funny on the IELTS. Not a good idea. Just be serious, right? Okay, everybody. So that's it for today's class, but we will have lots more speaking coming up in the following week. So we're starting on the 9th with speaking part 1, and then we'll have more speaking in that week. So keep coming back, keep volunteering, keep gaining that confidence. So students, again, these lessons are presented to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, visit us there. For general IELTS, gieltshelp.com. Lots of content, lots of help, not a lot of money on both of those websites. And you can use the code RU492 for one more day to get 30% even off of the low cost of those premium IELTS courses on those websites. So well worth it. We help thousands of students every day. Check us out there. I hope everybody has a fantastic next couple of days. And I hope to see you all back here on Wednesday. Much love to all of you wherever you are in this beautiful world, whether that's over in Calgary or as far away as Mongolia. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out for now. Bye, everyone.